The Olympic Peninsula is one of the most biologically diverse and ruggedly beautiful landscapes left in the continental United States. Olympic National Park alone contains several iconic and dramatically different environments: dense, rain-soaked temperate rainforests, jagged alpine peaks, and a wild, untamed coastline where land meets the Pacific. And for a very long time, many have claimed this place has been home to a creature as mysterious and untamed as the environment itself. Between thick vegetation, constant fog, and punishing terrain, visibility in Olympic is often shockingly limited, and access can be even worse. Combine that with a thriving ecosystem of Roosevelt elk, black bears, cougars, and river systems packed with salmon, and you have the perfect conditions for an elusive, highly intelligent animal to survive unseen. Indigenous peoples have long known they are here. Modern-day explorers have learned the hard way. And now I'm here to find out for myself. I am here in Olympic National Park, a place that has forever been intertwined with the legend of Sasquatch. A place that is so rugged and dense and lush and mysterious that it has always gone hand in hand with a creature that is not supposed to exist. Well, a creature that's not supposed to exist, if it were to exist, could do so here. When I think of Bigfoot, I think of Olympic. So I've come out here and I'm driving a forestry road that was recommended to me by members of the Olympic Project. Who better to talk to in this area than them? I got my tent all set up here, I think somewhat towards the end of this forestry road. I drove pretty far up here, didn't see anybody else. This is where Bigfooting begins. Early settlers, when they tried to come through the Olympics, they reported strange occurrences in the woods. Those occurrences apparently had been reported for a long time before they got there. The natives who were here first all spoke of some type of creature that existed out here, whether it was a shapeshifter, whether it was good or bad, stole children, whether it was a protector. It definitely seemed to be here. Loggers report the same thing, hikers. These reports continue to this day. So that's why I've come out here to Olympic, one of the ground zeros for Sasquatch. Throughout North America, there are various research organizations dedicated to the study of this phenomenon. Few, if any, are as widely respected and revered as the Olympic Project. Founded by Derek Randalls in 2009, the Olympic Project is made up of citizen science researchers, each bringing a certain level of expertise and approaching the subject through a practical, long-term, data-driven process. Through diligent and patient research conducted over extended periods of time, including collaborations with primatologists, anthropologists, linguists, and wildlife biologists, the Olympic Project has produced astounding results. One of the organization's more significant discoveries is what has come to be known as the nest site, a remote location within Olympic where several ground-level nest-like structures were found. Originally discovered by a timber surveyor, the Olympic Project was contacted due to the potential significance of the site. Logging plans were halted, and the Olympic Project was granted several years to research the area. Multiple ground nests, or structured bedding areas, were documented, bearing similarities to those constructed by gorillas. The site also produced hair samples containing DNA from an unknown species. And the discoveries go beyond that. Footprints have been documented, including convincing three-dimensional scans. Perplexing audio captures and thermal imagery have also been recorded, including this image, showing what appears to be two figures peering from behind a tree. Now, I'm certainly not out here to fake anything. What I'm trying to do with these Bigfoot videos is create a realistic depiction and experience for the viewers of what it's like to be out here alone in hot Sasquatch habitat. If nothing happens, that's because nothing happened. Sometimes, you know, the biggest aspect, the biggest takeaway is just the silence. Sitting in silence alone, only your thoughts, nobody to talk to you, nobody to distract you from whatever you end up feeling or hear or experience. It's just you. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Okay, come about as far as I'm gonna go for today. We got some dark clouds moving in and it's probably gonna rain. You can see another pathway in here. So like, I don't have a trained eye and it's pretty easy to spot a game trail. Imagine what Native Americans could do. Like, tracking is a lost art completely. People who absolutely relied on the art of tracking could see in the forest, disturbance in the forest. Now imagine a species that never changed, that never had to leave the forest. How just expert level it would be at noticing the smallest disturbances. It's one of the many reasons probably why game cams don't really work. They can see where you've come in and where you've come out. And they can probably smell you too. And probably also watch you put it up. I think you gotta just let them come to you. Wow, what a spot I have here. I mean, it's a bit windy. The views of Mount Olympus right now and the mountain range are just phenomenal. Now, of course, if I hear like a tree fall tonight, something like that, it's windy, so I'm just gonna have to attribute it to wind. I'm surprised there's nobody up here, and looking out into this vast, expansive wilderness, I do feel very alone, but I don't feel creeped out for now. There's your food source, according to many researchers. Of course, I would believe that Sasquatch would have endless food sources if they're omnivores like us. And these 3 deer are still looking straight at me. It's also mountain lion food right there. You do have to be careful of mountain lions out here for sure. I can see the rain moving in behind me. All right, it's spooky. I think the winds that are moving about like through these trees high up in the mountains kind of just adds to the spook factor. I guess it's time to set up my audio equipment. And let's see what happens on night 1. Well, it's really starting to come down here. I really wanted to sit here and just listen for sounds. Again, I do have the audio recorder going. But for now, I'm still gonna endure the rain a little bit and just sit out here. Now, there are a lot of reports from this area, and we'll see if something comes in close. All right, so rain totally pushed me into the tent early here. It's a bit spooky. The wind and the rain, these places change quickly at night.
Good morning, I guess. Man, I was unsettled last night. That's why I'm up right now and it's still like pitch black out. It's just storming. I had dream after dream after dream after dream that was unsettling. And they were so realistic, and they would have me here. I'd be in my tent thinking I'm awake, but I wasn't. I was dreaming. So I got sick of it. I decided to just call it. Yeah, it was an unsettling night. Never really had back-to-back-to-back dreams like that where I thought I was awake and I wasn't. I'd do whatever I could to wake myself up from that bad dream, and I was always like in the tent. My dreams were in the tent right there, which was unfortunate, and I would wake myself up from one bad dream and I'd be, okay, I'm awake. But I didn't know I wasn't awake. I was still having another dream. And so I got to a point where I said, screw this. I'm just going to actually wake up. But here we are in a very squatchy looking location. But again, I'm out here and I got nothing concrete. I know it's early, it's night one, but I got nothing concrete, nothing tangible. All that happened was like, I was in my head again. But from doing this over and over and over again in some of the most precisely, like supposedly hot places that experts lead me to, one of my main takeaways is that so much of it is in your head. And the further you look into this topic, the more you do it, all you do is open more doors to more mysteries, and you get more questions. You just start tumbling. Like, what was my layered dreams? Like Inception or something. It was like dreams on top of dreams. And it just felt so strange. To the point where I actually did wake up. This is the first time this has ever happened, I think. When I was actually awake, I didn't know if I was awake. Usually when you're actually awake, it's so different from when you were dreaming and you're like, oh, okay, I'm clearly awake. Not this time. I'm lying in the tent, just like, and I'm hearing the wind just rustle the tent and rain coming down, and I wasn't sure if I was actually awake because my dreams had just been messing with me all night. I do think I just heard maybe a knock. But again, if I'm backpacking, I don't think anything of it. I'm in the Bigfoot mindset, so Bigfoot, Bigfoot, Bigfoot. If I hear a single sound in the woods, it must be Bigfoot. But it was like a single, it sounded like a knock in the woods. Let's walk towards it. This is just a good time to find tracks with the mud and everything. The ground is so soft. If one would walk in the middle of the road, why would it, you know? Well, why would it? Because it's the path of least resistance. Animals do it. There's a reason why you always see bear scat and tracks just along hiking trails, path of least resistance. If Sasquatch is anything like any of the other species on this planet, they would also do that. Olympic is just perfect because it just is so biodiverse. There is so much water. You have salmon rivers, you have lush vegetation and mushrooms, and I still approach this subject like they are some type of primate, just like, you know, we are some part primate, whether they're hominid or some type of human-like species that just didn't die off, and it did so by understanding that it needs to remain completely undetected by us based on our extreme hostility. So obviously, you know, you look at stuff like this, potential tree breaks and snaps. To me, there's just so much stuff in there that if it moves around in the wind, it's kind of up in this area, it could pull down the weight of the tree. You see tree breaks all the time in the woods. Chances are it's obviously natural, but when you come to a place where they're really supposed to be, who knows? Who knows? I don't know, I'm just like, I'm in an area where like things look slightly out of place. Sticks laid up against the side of a stump. That tree break, this here, well, this tree branch, which is just placed here, or, you know, it's kind of like the Nordegg situation. Like, did that fall? Chances are it fell, but it also looks like it was just placed to lie up against the side of that tree. It ends up becoming so speculative, and just some people will say Bigfoot, Bigfoot, Bigfoot. But, you know, the whole tree structure and snapping trees and using them as some type of meaningful symbol. People do it. Gorillas do it. Showcase, you know, big males in the area. Manipulating trees and breaking them to indicate things is no breakthrough. That's what people have been doing and primates have been doing for a long time. I'm just gonna film what I see and you can decide. I'm trying to be objective and again, I'm not gonna die on that hill. I'm not the tree structure guy. I am the guy who will show you tree structures and let you decide, and kind of hopefully give you both sides of the argument that manipulating trees as some form of territorial indicator, territorial marker, is nothing new. It's been done. I'm not saying that's what's being done here. Certainly, for one, it's almost certainly natural. Also, there's a lot of campers who come up in these areas, and there's a lot of researchers. So who's to say they don't come and move these trees around and try to get some type of response? Sadly, this was all downhill, so I'm gonna have to walk all the way back uphill with this bum ankle of mine. No tracks. If they're a rare species, you would rarely find tracks, and I would assume they're constantly trying to cover up their tracks, right? Like, that's what cats will do. That's what so many predatory animals will do. That was the philosophy of trappers and trackers to never leave a track if you don't have to. Walk on rocks, walk on trees, tree stumps. I know like cats will hop from rock to rock to rock so as not to leave tracks in between. Look at how just thick and dense these forests can be. I love when people like to pretend that a species, if it were to exist, would have been discovered by now because they can't stay hidden. Haha, okay. All right. If the world's most respected primatologist says that it could happen, then who the hell are you to say that it can't?
While my time on this lonely, fog-covered forestry road gave me a true sense of mystery, I wanted to move into an area that truly defines Olympic, a region that makes this place so uniquely special.
I'm in the Hoh Rainforest, one of the coolest places in America, in my opinion. Just an awesome, lush, temperate coastal rainforest here. Walking through here, it's unbelievable. Like, everything is covered in moss. All right, I pulled off one of the many side roads in the Hoh Rainforest area. I'm not gonna say exactly where I am, but this spot seems to be pretty good. And also, I find this impression interesting. It's almost like, you know, obviously we all know what's at the top of my mind right now. It's like toes, where the toes would be, and it just seems like a good size. And there's my, so barefoot wise it'd be much bigger. It does just sort of look a certain way. I'm already hearing what sounds like a yip or like a barking sound over there. That either could be an elk. Elk do make a variation of a barking sound. This is great elk habitat. Or it could be coyotes. This is also prime coyote habitat. Apparently the coyotes here are pretty damn aggressive. All right, what I want to do once I get situated is just go off trail into these woods and look for sign. As Shane Corson put it, you know, create a bit of a disturbance and create some curiosity. You know, if it wasn't for curiosity, we may never have any interaction with these species whatsoever. And what's curiosity a trait of? Primates. By going in to a place where they don't maybe normally see somebody walking around in a random spot in the forest, creating a disturbance, maybe the one will come check me out tonight. I also have a couple apples that I'm gonna put out, you know, gesture of good faith. Does that not look like a Sasquatch standing and looking straight at me? Man, if I saw that in the dark. It's pretty unbelievable. I gotta really watch where I step, but it's pretty unbelievable. Whew. To be squatching in the Hoh Rainforest. When you think of Bigfoot, you think of big, old, mossy rainforest in the Pacific Northwest. Well, this is the most famous one. And the sightings here go back a long time. And what I like is that I'm away from some of the touristy areas. Not that they don't go to the touristy areas, like the national park, which I'm outside of. But I like that I'm up on these remote logging roads with kind of nobody else around. I don't know if you could hear that, but I'm either hearing coyotes really distant or kids laughing. It sounds like children laughing, but I do know there's a lot of coyotes around here. So I hope it's coyotes. Meanwhile, I can't find my way out. Wow. The Hoh Rainforest is loaded with Roosevelt elk. And I talked about this when I backpacked the Hoh Rainforest, that there used to be a rumor that Roosevelt elk don't bugle like other elk. But it's not true, they do. It's just that sound in this forest has a really tough time carrying. In fact, it's known as one of the quietest places on the planet because of the lack of sound that can escape a given area due to all the noise muffling, all the moss that just keeps noise in. Look at the size of some of these old growths. This guy is no more. New one coming out of it that's still good size. But look how big this guy was. Sasquatch or not, this is beautiful. If searching for Bigfoot gets you out and maybe, just maybe, try and protect some of our wild places. I think so many of our wild places are destroyed because people don't know what's being destroyed. So that's one of the goals of my channel, to show people the beauty of the world, the beauty of North America, and the beauty of these landscapes and these ecosystems. This is really up there with the most enchanting, magical places I've ever been. I think of the Hoh Rainforest, I think of Jedediah Smith redwoods. And as enchanting as it is, it's really still a daytime experience. I know from just being all over that the daytime very much belongs to us, and the nighttime very much does not. All right, we're back at the campsite. Look at these woods, kind of ominous woods behind the tent. Ooh.
quiet place, huh? There's apple 1 and there's apple 2. I don't even know if they're here. I think they exist, but even if they do, you know, are they here right now? I don't know. I was told that they very much will be in the rivers where the salmon are spawning in Hoh River right now. That's beginning nearby. I came out of the woods and got the news. Apparently, Jeff Meldrum, who we all lost just a couple days ago. It's September 14th right now. Just personally, I can talk about my own feelings. I was devastated. Devastated and sad and furious. I don't know, I don't think I've ever, I might be wrong, but I'm not sure I ever cried for somebody like who I didn't know. I never met Jeff Meldrum. And at some point I cried. I don't know why. I think I related with what he was doing, what he did. Not only did he seem like a tremendous person, and I'm always going to regret the fact that I didn't meet him. I always felt that way about John Bindernagel, but we still have Jeff Meldrum, who for me has been a part of my childhood. He was always in every documentary growing up as like this credible guy who provided some sort of foundation that you could bank on when it comes to Bigfoot. You could say, listen to this guy talk, how eloquently he speaks, how convincing he is. He has all the credibility in the world, and because of that he was just featured in so many documentaries, and he's at every single event and everybody knew him. It just feels like a changing of the guard. We had all these really credible people, and now what? For him to say that he thought that he was completely convinced that the Patterson-Gimlin film was real, and the fact that he went out and put his entire reputation on the line, his professional reputation, that he was mocked just like the rest of us by all his peers for doing this, and that it's professional suicide. Once you go out on a limb, there's kind of no walking it back. And Jeff Meldrum was like the face of this topic, and for him to go out on a limb and stick to his gut and say this is something that the scientific community needs to take seriously, that meant the world to me. I think it meant the world to a lot of people, and most importantly, it sounds like he was a really special person. In terms of bringing this topic to the scientific community and actually getting it to be recognized as a very real thing, we need Jeff Meldrums. We need more people like that. So if those people are out there, if they're in those types of fields, please come forth, look into the topic. It's just devastating to lose people like that, especially someone who seemed to be liked by almost the entire community. And trust me, that's a hard thing to do. This community is pretty damn divisive, and it seems like people really liked him. So, you know, my heart goes out to Jeff's family and his friends. So, Jeff Meldrum, this is for you. Still no fires allowed. I've been camping now, various trips for 2 weeks. I've yet to have a campfire, and I've needed them. I've needed them for comfort in grizzly country in Yellowstone. I could have used them when I was alone in the North Cascades, and I certainly could have used them last night and tonight when I'm doing this Bigfoot stuff, and it's so easy to get mentally carried away. It provides some sense of comfort, like you're not as alone as you actually are. It just gives you something to focus on instead of letting your mind do this and focus on things like that snap I just heard, instead of letting things running around in these bushes. But when you're out here and you got Bigfoot on the mind, that's where your mind goes. It is so easy to get carried away. The fear and the unknown is trying to take over, and you really kind of have to zone in
and stay focused. It is that time. Going on a night investigation. I have the audio recorder going here at my tent, just in case anything moves in while I'm away. Let's do it. We're doing this. It's pretty quiet out here. You know, this is always a spooky thing to do for sure, but don't fear it, go for it. That's what it's all about. Let's try a whoop. I understand I'm not fooling anything, and it already knows that I'm here if they're here, but just looking to trigger some type of response because of the lack of time I have, so let's do it. Well, if they didn't know I'm here before, they know I'm here now. Even though I'm very much under the impression that they knew I was here the second I got out of my car. I think what would make sense if they're to remain hidden this whole time is that they would operate almost in like a militaristic fashion, much like certain chimpanzee bands do, where they have a couple sort of establishing a perimeter and watching over that, and then the group in the middle sort of does their thing, sleeps, relaxes, and if they see anything strange, they let everybody know and they move on. Probably likely be a similar thing. Of course, that's all hypothetical. But there really is something to me just yelling out in the dark all alone like this in a place like this. It's a bit spooky. I'm back here at my campsite. I just heard a big snap in back of camp. Like a big thick tree snapping. Whatever this was, that would have had to have been a pretty big animal. Man, it sounded like heavy, thick trees being snapped. Okay, let me stand up.
My time in Olympic was everything I had hoped it would be. This place has a way of pulling you into a dreamlike world, both beautiful and mysterious. While I fell short of introducing myself to a Sasquatch, I was transported into its realm, a landscape defined by beauty, mystery, and unanswered questions. Because that's what Bigfooting really is. To explore this phenomenon is to embrace the wild places it may inhabit and the mystery that surrounds its existence. And in the search for Sasquatch, maybe the destination matters less than the journey itself.